Hello all and welcome back to yet another recording. And today we are focusing, or now distinctly will be published the same day as the video about these two over here, where we will be focusing on making some realistic roads, or replicating this one at least. So yeah, simply a couple of things before we start. Um, I'm just looking at my model category at the moment. And in snapping, I have move turned off, so I don't have it on anything at all. But for most of this, we'll just be using what's in the home section here. So with that bit out of the way, I will check what size are you? You're 56 by 50. Let's see if I actually get that right. First go. Now, last video, you'll notice these two were the same X and Y. Whereas this, when we start talking about realistic ones, the proportions X and Y could be very different. It just depends on the road you're making, the scale, and all that. For me, I've scaled mine to 15 studs a lane. Technically, it's 15.5 because actually, I'll explain that in a second and you understand a bit better. But I'll replicate these ones more than I'll do let's do some lines actually, because that was just simple. Let's have a bit more fun. So, like the last two, and I think a lot of people like to do it this way. Let's make it this 56.5, I think. Yeah. So make it 0.2 studs, and then for me, I've done it 56 width. Sorry, let me say that again. 56.5 width and 50 studs length. And there is a good reason to why both are that way. So let us now focus on the main thing here, which is the inner lines. So 0.5, because we want them to be nice and close to the actual uh, road itself. And to be clear, I'm showing you how to use parts to make road markings. There is many ways you can do them. Like there is many ways you can make roads. There's plugins for it. There's also the ability to use stick decals and sort of textures out there as well. So for now, I'm just focusing on how to use parts in most of my videos, and also in some ways how to use some unions, um, which I'll be showing a bit more when we get to the sidewalks. So uh, from memory, we did the road markings here about 5. Yeah, fantastic. So as I said, this is where it does get a bit tedious, and I think we'll come back to the road markings in a second, just so we can actually focus on in the rest of this stuff in. I am so making that yellow. At least I can then see where everything is. Yeah, that's about right. And there's a reason I've done it like this, and I'll explain that in just a second. Okay, 15. Rather than doing it like that, we can do it like this. As I said, we're all going to have different scales for what we need the roads for, so work out what scale you want. And yes, it'll be a little bit more work when it comes to doing the math of the whole thing, but it's worth it. It truly is. Um, so I've just essentially put 3 of these inner markings side by side. Then I've created the 15 studs for like a part that was 15 studs wide for my scale that I need here. As said, yours will be different or could be different. You might have the same as me. Um, but that's designed for most conventional mesh cars, just like this one from Studio JMT. So yeah, it's a bit wide actually in proportions, but let's face it, it gives players a bit more room. Who doesn't love more room sometimes? Um, and we want this one to be 0.75. Don't know what happened there. There we go. Because now we're actually looking at making some gutters, which I've done very simply here. I could have actually shown you guys how to make the uh, grills for the gutters themselves or other such details. I didn't actually have a bit. If I had a bit more time, I would have done that. Unfortunately, I didn't. So I've just had to go with what I've got in front of me, unfortunately. And this is where we'll start getting a bit more creative with the materials. So last time I was just very slack and I went ahead and said, you know what, we're just going to have concrete for everything. Whereas now we want to actually have a mix of concrete and asphalt. And there it was right in front of me. And I will use black for the road. So now you're starting to see it take shape. And as they are in real life, we want the outer lines to be white, like so. And now we are going to start working on these sidewalks. So I'm going to do it a little differently to how I did these ones. These ones, I overdid the building, and I'm not going to torture you a lot with that. That was cruel on my part, even to myself. So, ooh, whoops, I want to separate from my, so I can review my own work. So they were 9.9. Okay. I need, I need parts to be 10, like so. We're actually going to do it a little differently to how I even did it over there. So we'll do this one first. And rather than doing what I did over here, which was ridiculous number of parts, we're going to do 4 or 5 for this section. And because we want the a little bit of a symbol of like a oh, I forgot what they're called, a crack in the pavement. We want to just have it 0.5, so it's nice and simple. And this will do the 0.9, 9.9, X and Y. So we've got fewer parts and still same effect. Okay, how do I do this simply? Oh, I can't. Oops. Okay, so we can't, pull that for the next part, unfortunately. We do have to be a bit more tedious with our work. So, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, let's. Okay, so that was 1.5 for that, 1.525 and zero point 0.4. Okay, so let's. Hang on. Sorry, math ain't working for me for that second. So if it's like that, that ain't gonna work. Oh, no, I know why. Okay, so we want to make it 0.5. And I only want my minus 0.5 of that. So we want to make it 4.5. And then, yeah, we'll keep that 10. Duplicate. And then to keep it nicer for the majority, we want a minus point. So that become 9.9. And now, as you can see, it's overlapping a bit and doesn't look like how we want it to look. So to fix that, it's very simple. Negate this part for now. and we'll use this part behind us and simply reverse that negate. Hang on, that's only going to make a 0.5 there. No, 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 no. Okay, now I know where I may have made a little boo-boo. Did I seriously just say that? I think I did. Okay. No, now I know where I'm doing it. Yep. Sorry. Should have just gone with the original method I used. Yeah, well. Okay. Because we will duplicate that part, and I'll show you as to why I did the duplication now. So 9.9, which gives us that little bit there, and we want to make this part 4, which gives us that, for lack of better terms, that crack. So I just want to make it 0.05. Might seem big, and I need connections. That would help. It does seem a little bit bigger in this section, but when we start working through it, it won't as well. So now we've got that done. So that's 0.4. We lined it out because we want that to be a bit thinner. So okay, so we're up to that, which is going to be 2.5 when we're done. Oh shoot, never mind, that didn't actually plan out as I was hoping. Just one sec, folks. Okay, now that I've fixed that little hiccup, so we want to make this part, the little part we will bring out to do the curb side of the sidewalks. We want to bring it out to 4.5 wide and 0.2 high. We'll just put it back there for now. And then we'll do 2.5 make up for the height. And oh, what was it again for that part was do, 2.5. There we go. 2.5 by 2.5 is how we're doing it on this part. Oh no, that's how we're doing it. Now I'm with it. Okay. Because it needs to be 0.5. Yep, that makes sense. Good one, AJ. And this whole section we need to actually have as 9.9. So, whoops, that didn't go as I was hoping it was going to. So, like so. And there's a reason which we'll get through in a second as to why it's like that. But now we want to add a slope or a wedge part. Anchor, as like all the others. I'm going to negate this so I can ensure it is exactly where we want it, which I think right there would do. Okay, so with that now being the case, hang on, that was 0.2, which makes that 0.3. Okay, we'll fix that quickly. And that is 2.2. Cool. So let's make that 2 there. And we want to make this one 3. So that's very quick little fixes there. Just move that up quickly and fix that to. I shouldn't have used well, connections were on. Anyway, oh well. Okay, so 0.2, and then we want to make this part the length 9.9, and change the material to concrete. At least that's the material I want it to be. Of course, if you guys have a different material you need, then obviously go with that. So then we want to obviously not have this negated, but then simply bring this part over. Actually, we can do the whole section at once, and I will explain why. So we're going to actually downsize this part to 1.5 height and width. This part will become, well, 0.1, and 2.5, I think, stays the same at the moment. Oh, forgot to change that to 0.1 as well. So we want all these parts to become 0.1, just so that we're not back and forth. Whee! There we go. And this part we want to make it 0.4. And I believe that will be 0.2. Let's have a look if I'm right. So, no, I'm not. It needs to be 1.5 tall, 2.5 wide, and that one is 4 and 3. Which that's right. That one needs to be 2.5. 1.5. And now it is correct. So that is probably the most confusing part of what we're going to be doing here, fortunately. And we move it like so. Now we've done that. We can pretty much copy and paste this from now on. So that's the beauty of that. We've done the hard parts, thankfully. So we'll just copy these ones over. Actually, yeah, let's do it like that. And to save us time, because we know that this is a 50 and these are 10, so we can just copy this like so. Make sure you do include these little gap sections, because if you don't, you'll just wind up with a very plain sidewalk curve. And nobody wants that. And for these end ones, we want to actually reduce them down to 0.5. Unfortunately, because we've got a slope in there, it doesn't actually like to play as nice for us. So we have to do a little bit more work. And yeah, so that finishes this side. I'll show you how we line everything up in a second. One thing at a time, of course. And yet I was jumping all over the place, so go figure. Almost. There we go. And definitely make sure you don't have collisions on when you try and do this section of it, because it will drive you up the wall. It already drives me up the wall trying to make it. And lucky last bit there. Now, of course, I've probably gone the long way around doing all this. Plenty of people, I think, do. Oops. And fortunately, this part will be a lot easier. So we just want to copy these two pieces. and like so. And then we can actually cheat a little here and copy two at the same time. And the beauty of this is we've done one, so we don't have to do the other. We just have to now select all these parts, graciously bring them here so they're nice and well connected. Did I seriously forget that part? Yes, I did. Oh well. There needs to be one more part, which, because of the way the curb faces are, completely forgot to add these. We just need to downsize these to 0.5. And these are the parts that will join to our sidewalk itself. So now that's done, we can bring our sidewalks back, giving us that consistent and nice gap. And simply to do the other side, well, we just literally copy and paste. Just make sure not to copy and paste your gutter or your line there, because if you do, it's going to be a bit of a headache when you get it to the other side. And like so, we are done. Now, to reduce some of the lag that this would cause, you can easily minus the gutter, union all these parts together, essentially forming a new part. Now, this might cause issues. We'll actually have a little play with it now. I haven't actually tested it with this build specifically. So let's do that quickly. Group as a model, and that is literally your road done. How well they go together, let's see. So I haven't tested this configuration. Do they collide properly? No, there's some issues. They create a little bit of a gap. And I think I know where that is. The problem the most. Let's have a look. There's some, yeah. That's very easy to fix, but I want to focus on that now because I just realized I forgot to teach you guys how to make those little lines. So, very simple actually. We just make the 50 into 5, and like we did before, copy and paste everything. Personally, I like to make the center or the original central line a different color, like red, white, whatever you guys want to use. It won't stay that way. It's just so we know where the center of the plate is, or the center of this line is. So, whoop, and we don't need that last little bit there. And just to save us the time, is every time you can, find that little hack to save time. It does help. We want to now make these 0.25 at the end, or 2.5, sorry, because these will join up on the next base plate, which rather than actually going to the recipe, we can easily go ahead and do that. So we just go through in every second line. So you missed that one. So you got your original one, you get rid of this one. You got this one, get rid of this one. And then, fortunately, on the way we've done it, we're actually getting rid of these little end ones. So that's how we'll carry on to the next few base plates. So, yeah. And then we just correct the color. Didn't want lilac. There we go. That is how to make a realistic road. And simply group when you're done. Now, you have the option to leave the unions join together or separate them. It's totally up to you and what you need. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.